Good morning, and welcome to this week's Monday Motivation. This is a Monday Motivation, get my teeth in, that has you motivated, self-motivated for your Monday, your morning, and even your week. So today I thought I would talk about motivation for happiness, which is interesting given that at the time of recording, a big football match went on. And it was the UK playing against Italy. And I can imagine that as the England team came second, that there will be a few reflections even amongst the players, amongst the fans, amongst the coaches, amongst the trainers, where they might be feeling disappointed, which is a very quick way to take away our happiness or a person's happiness. So I thought this morning, why not start with some motivation for happiness to help you or people that you know navigate through whatever might be going on for you. So some context to this, I recently had a birthday, and as I was approaching the birthday, I knew I wanted to write a longer article on happiness, and I thought, why not be cute and have one for every year of my life so far? And as I was kind of writing down and remembering, like reminiscing for some of it, capturing thoughts, points in my life of where I felt really happy, and really digging deep into what had that happen. Was it something outside of me? Was it something internally? Was it something that touched me? What I realise is that whenever we are motivating ourselves for happiness, we need to have, first step, a point of reference. Now, why am I even sharing this, and why does it even matter, I guess? So happiness is subjective. Happiness is subjective, and it depends on the person. Some people will kind of rate happiness on a high scale because they're right up there. Sorry, Adam, I haven't got my glasses on. I just realised I've left them in the other room, but you also had a birthday as well. Yes, you and I had a birthday on the same day. Sent you a little message. I hope you got it. So, what it is and why it's important. Happiness can be different. It's a bit like beauty being in the eye of the beholder. Happiness can be different for many different people. It can mean different things. So the first thing is knowing what happiness means to you and finding out where your own place of happy is, benchmarking your own place. Now, why this is important is because sometimes, we're kind of almost conditioned to look for happiness in other things, other people, other circumstances. And whilst all those things may be true for some of you, knowing our inner happy place on the inside, first off, helps us to get there. So, this is a motivation for happiness. It should be a motivation to happiness. However, if we don't know what our happy is, then it's even more difficult for us to find it or see it. So in the example of the football game last night, there were two teams that played. One was going to be really happy that they won, and the other was going to be disappointed that maybe they didn't. So here's the first thing, knowing their own happiness levels within themselves. There's one thing that I think gets spoken about a lot in personal development that doesn't always help with our happiness levels, and that's that you can only ever be happy. If you negate or don't address any time that you feel less than happy, I always say it's like bobbing apples. If you imagine you had a big tub of water with apples floating, and every time an apple came to the surface, and normally stays at the surface because apparently they're 75% air or something. If you were to push the apple down, it will very violently bob up, and not even in the same place. It might do it in another place or another position. So there's no point, if you're feeling less than whatever your level of happiness is, there's no point trying to negate it, trying to sugarcoat or block it out or pretend it's not there. There's a certain time to acknowledge how you're feeling and where you're feeling, and that's exactly what some of the players did at the game that I watched last night, which, depending on when you're watching this, would have been on the 11th of July. So acknowledge your own happiness levels, number one, and know that by not being happy, it doesn't make it wrong. The not feeling happy is normally an indication, and I want to say just an indication, that something might not be feeling right. And I'll give you a kind of a strange example, but something that I see a lot. So, I quite frequently invite people to have a call with me if they want to consider working with me. And I know that many of you have this too. So throughout the course of that conversation, we'll be finding out, we'll be finding out about each other, and I'll be asking questions to find out whether the thing that I want to offer them is something that's going to be helpful to that person. And depending on where they're at, I guess in their own happiness levels, although our specific conversations about their ability to be visible, whether they are visible, but whether it's working for them, whether they're not visible because they feel a way around it, or something else. Quite often, people will use phrases and say things like, well, I've done such and such before, so I guess I'm just going to revisit that. Or they'll say, I've tried this before and I promised myself that I would A, B, C. That's probably the sentence I hear the most. I promised myself I would. And depending on what comes after that sentence lets me know whereabouts a person is in their own happiness to be visible level, And the thing is, a lot of people will say, oh, but if they're on a call to work with you, shouldn't you persuade them and tell them how to do the thing, or persuade them that they should be working with you so that they don't have these sentences? And the actual truth of the matter is no. Now, I share that with you because a lot of the time when we have our own kind of levels, internal happiness levels, and something doesn't seem to go right, what we will try and do is force, persuade, coerce ourselves into a level of happiness that we think we, quote unquote, should have or should be at. When the truth of the matter is, whilst it's different for everybody, there's an acknowledgement of where we're at the moment and why. And in a way, there's almost a period of licking our wounds. And again, for those of you that watched the match, or any kind of match where you've seen this, you will often see this within the players, within the team. It's an important part of the process before we go springboarding into our happy place to acknowledge our feelings and where we are now. Now, this is where it becomes kind of the motivational piece, and especially or specifically the self-motivational piece. So I just want to take a moment that if you are somebody who is highly motivated, but every now and then you might kind of, slump or do this a little bit, like the entrepreneurial roller coaster, as they say, have your ups and downs. One of the ways in which you can help to smooth that out, yes, you will go up and down, but your ups will be a lot quicker and will feel a lot more beneficial to you, is to work with somebody who can either hold you accountable, because a lot of the time, and I've fallen into this myself, a lot of the time we go for, I want to learn something, I want to, people will teach about something. And that's useful when it's combined with the teaching and the accountability and the gentle push or gentle shove that somebody might need. All of these components are important. So when I hear somebody that says, oh, but I've tried this before, but it normally means that they haven't quite found their own motivational or support network to be able to do the things that they've been dreaming about. And for many of the people that I speak to, they've been dreaming about it for a long time. Sometimes the thoughts of the life they wanted may have even started in childhood, and they remember that. So I was going to speak about, just had a memory blank. Let me take a drink of water. I was going to speak about going forward in terms of motivation. So one of the things to do is to think about past experiences, Be okay with those past experiences, but don't dwell in those past experiences. Look for a time when you did, rather than a time that you didn't or couldn't. Look for a time where there's something that really kind of juiced you, jazzed you, really excited you. And use any time where you maybe didn't achieve the thing that you wanted to achieve as almost like, you know, if you're looking at your levels of happiness, maybe look at that time as the kind of the bottom, if you like. So that if you feel a bit kind of, despondent, or you're just feeling a bit like, I don't think this is going to work, I don't think this is going to happen, then have that be the thing to remember as to what you would do differently next time when you're advancing towards the thing that you're dreaming of or thinking of. So here's what I'd invite you to do this week. Think of something that you almost, it's like a brain thing, this one, that you almost feel motivated to do in your head, but for some reason it's not happening. And often what happens is we go to our head and then disconnect from how we feel about it, our passions, our abilities, or anything else like that. Think about the thing, and whatever it is, no matter how random or kind of small or big or whatever it seems, don't class it as big or small. Go back and make a note of that thing that you really want to do that might have been getting in the way. It might have been that you've tried it before and hasn't quite got you to where you need to be, so you feel like you're trying again. And have a look at the elements of like where the happiness level, and you know, there is no kind of ceiling to the happiness, but look at where the happiness piece is, and also look at where your bottom of that is for you. What's the bottom for you? How did it make you feel when maybe that didn't happen before? And then start to look at ways of how you can start to achieve the thing that you want to achieve, the feeling that you want to feel. Sometimes you have to start doing something new, and sometimes you just have to pause, reflect, or stop doing something. So for those of you in the Visibility Vibes Tribe Facebook group, you know, go in there and post. And if you're not in there yet, then do click the button somewhere at the top of this page. Go into the group. You will have to answer 3 very quick questions, and if you don't answer them, I don't let you in. It's as simple as that. So answer those 3 questions. It's a safe space. Whatever you post in the group, it's a private group, so whatever you post in the group won't be seen by friends, family, you know, Aunt Mo, who you know, has a look at your Facebook page. You'll have the space with 900 other people actually, who are very heart-centered, who are very supportive, and who you could literally talk about anything in front of, because they will always support your desires, your dreams, as do I. And also on pretty much a daily basis, you'll get a nugget of information from me, whether it's a written post or whether it's a video or a live or something like that. But you will find the juiciest people in there, people who will help you in topping up your happiness levels. Maybe you'll be the person that goes in there and shares something that helps to top up somebody else's happiness level. But be really, really conscious of any time where you're not feeling happy, that it's not bad, it's not wrong, it's just literally your body's way of showing you that something is off kilter. And sometimes it'll be a very tangible reason, like maybe you wanted to score a goal, or you missed a goal, or you missed a penalty shootout, but that's okay. There'll be lessons in those feelings, lessons in those learnings, if that makes sense, which you can apply each and every day. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for those of you that continue to share these on a weekly basis. And I would love to know what's like one thing that you're going to do as a result of this video. You can either type it in the comments below, or go over and post in the Visibility Vibes Tribe Facebook group, and just use the hashtag Monday Motivation. It makes it easier for me to find, because as always, Monday is the day where I work privately with my coaching clients, literally from the morning today all the way through to the evening, because I have some American clients as well on different time zones. So I like to, when I get the chance between the calls, pop in and have a look at some of the stuff that you're sharing, because you're not just sharing it for you. Sometimes the things that you share help other people too. If you or someone you know knows that you've got a bit of an issue around visibility, maybe you're not scared to be visible, you're quite confident, but you find this inner crisis of confidence just stops you from going out there or keeping consistent being out there. And maybe, you know, you've got a business to run, or maybe you're a leader within a business as an employee, and you know that you can't really take your foot off the gas there, then send me a message to this page, or even go to thequeenofbeingseen.com and you're able to schedule an appointment to speak to me to find out how we can move forward, or how you might need to move forward. So I can't wait to hear from you. I can't wait to read what you got from today. And I look forward to speaking to those of you who I'll speak to today, and chatting to those of you who post in the Vibes Tribe group and on here. Bye for now.